Ladies and gentlemen, from the Chumash Casino Resort in Santa Ynez, California, this is Showbox, the new generation.
And nobody gonna give you nothing for nothing. You gotta work for what you get. You gotta get them shots off. Left hook, right hand.
Both hands up, both hands up. Let's go. Go out there, focus on the job that has to be done. This is what it takes to be champ. This is what it takes right here, baby.
Opportunity only left in one. Let's go.
This week on Showbox, the new generation, we come to you on a new night and a familiar place. We're back at the Chumash Casino Resort in Santa Ynez, California. It's a packed house again as fight fans get their weekend started with a boxing doubleheader on Showtime. Hello again, everybody. I'm Nick Charles. I want to welcome all you hardcore fight fans who have been watching Showbox for years, as well as you new viewers joining us for a Friday night of boxing. It's always a pleasure for me to be ringside calling the action and to be working with my broadcast partner and pal, Steve Farhood, as the music comes in. I didn't know this was your choice, Steve. Tell you, our main event tonight, Steve, features a guy who really impressed both of us just this past summer on Showbox. We knew Mike Arnaudes was quick, but when we matched him tough, we also saw that he could go to war, that he could take a shot, and that he could fight all night. That's exactly why he's back on Showbox tonight.
Nick, let me tell you, this is a guy, even though neither one of us can pronounce his last name properly, Mighty Mike Arnaudes is really welcome back on Showbox. Let's face it, nobody knew who this Greek southpaw was before he fought Juan Arango on our air in August. What happens? One good performance, and now this guy is a legitimate prospect in the hottest division in boxing, junior welterweight. And in that fight against Arango, Arnaudes showed all the intangibles you'd like to see from a young fighter. Heart, strong chin, and a steely focus. And we know he's got exceptional speed and mobility. So is this guy as good as he seems? Well, when it comes to prospects, first impressions can be misleading. I want to see Arnaudes do it again. And tonight he's matched against a brawler who makes boxers like Mighty Mike absolutely miserable. Jesse Feliciano has been matched tough and tougher, fighting unbeaten prospects again and again, and in their backyards. He's won most of the time, turning his awkward, technically inferior style into a positive. This is a rough, tough junior welterweight, and at the tender age of 22, he's already mastered the art of winning ugly. Now, he's going to swallow a lot of punches tonight, Nick, but if he can get close, he'll take away Arnaudes' advantage as a southpaw. One thing's for sure, Jesse Feliciano will be bringing it for all 12 rounds.
Slick Mike Arnaudes set the lead, no doubt about who's the prospect here. Meanwhile, Jesse Feliciano's completely unintimidated as he faces a must-win situation. It's our 12-round junior welterweight main event later in the hour. The card leads off tonight with a battle of junior lightweights with just a single loss apiece as Agnaldo Nunes and Isidro Granado face off here in Santa Ynez, California. Agnaldo Nunes is from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's a two-time Olympian, went 114-5 in the amateurs, and won 7 national titles. He turned pro in Brazil, but passed his first real test a year ago in America when he won a 6-round decision. Nunes suffered his only loss last December when he was floored twice by Showbox alum Eric Aiken. Since then, he's gone 3 for 3 and is coming off a second-round TKO win only 2 weeks ago. Agnaldo Nunes is a 28-year-old southpaw, 9-1 with 5 knockouts. Steve, take us behind the numbers.
Well, Nick, Nunes is still a rookie. He's fought only 37 rounds as a pro. Then again, Granados has fought only 40 rounds, so no advantage. Color these guys green. Tougher comp. After starting his career in Brazil against opponents with records of 0-11 and 0-32, Nunes has faced much better fighters, including recent Showbox performer Aiken. And Brazil is bigger. Nunes has been boxing mostly as a junior lightweight and lightweight, while Granados has been in featherweight bouts. I expect Nunes to be the stronger fighter tonight.
Isidro Granados is from Bellflower, California, and only 20 years old. He started boxing at 5 and later won a national title at the Under-19 Championships. He turned pro 2 years ago as a featherweight and has fought most of his career, as Steve mentioned, in that division. Granados' only loss was a 6-round decision in May of 2003, but since then, the Boxer Punchers won 6 straight. He's coming off a 4th-round TKO victory in June and will be fighting for the 6th time this year. Isidro Granados, 12-1, 8 KOs. Steve, what's behind those numbers?
Well, Nick, easy wins for Granados. He's faced only 2 fighters with winning records. Those opponents were only 6-4 and 9-8. This is a big step up tonight. The lefty issue. Nunes is a southpaw, and to date, Granados has faced no lefties. How will he adjust? And loser of a loss. Granados' one loss came on points against Aristeo Perez, who's gone winless in 6 fights since. Can't dismiss that one.
So that's the setup story for our first fight. 2 young guys, both looking to emerge as prospects, as Agnaldo Nunes battles Isidro Granados in a junior lightweight bout scheduled for 8 rounds. Let's go now to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Chumash Casino Resort here in beautiful Santa Ynez, California, as we have a big night of action coming away, ladies and gentlemen, and it's all brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions in association with the Santa Ynez Band of Chumash Indians and Showtime. Tonight's action is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Chris Mears and the executive director, Dean Loheis. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside: Gwen Adair, David Denkin, and James Jenkin III. Our referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Jerry Cantu. All right, fans, here we go. 8 rounds of boxing scheduled in this, a junior lightweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, he is wearing white trunks with black trim. He weighed in at 125 3/4 pounds. His record stands at 12 wins, only 1 defeat, with 8 wins coming by way of knockout. From Hawaiian Gardens, California, and representing the Bellflower Boxing Club, introducing Isidro Granado. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, this 8-round attraction, wearing black trunks. He weighed in at 127 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 9 wins, 1 defeat, with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Joining us all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil, please welcome the 1996 and 2000 Brazilian Olympian, introducing Agnaldo Nunes. Once again, Jerry Cantu, a referee in charge, now to give instructions. 8 rounds of action scheduled.
Chief seconds only. Chief seconds only. Chief seconds only. Everybody outside of the ring. You've both been given your instructions in the dressing room. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Nunes weighed in, as you can see, about 2 pounds heavier than Granados, but he's about 138 pounds now, while Granados is probably about 130. That's a big difference. Let's see if the strength factor comes into play.
And the rules, 3 knockdown rule not in effect, nor is the standing 8 count. You can be saved by the bell in the last round only. Referee or the doctor can stop the fight. Getting us started now, referee Jerry Cantu. We are ready. Our first bout of the night here in Santa Ynez, California. These are junior lightweights. Agnaldo Nunes in the black from Brazil. You'll see him the southpaw moving to his right. He's a fluid mover, though, Steve, from what we said, what we saw and what he said. He'll go both ways, and he'll dart to the left as he's doing right now and just try to make life miserable for an orthodox fighter.
Yeah, this is tough because not only is Granados moving up, but he's moving up against the southpaw who has more experience and who's a bigger guy. So in that sense, you make Nunes a slight favorite, but it's really hard to say from watching these guys up to this point who's going to make the fight, who's going to be the aggressor. That could make a difference. If Granados packs Nunes up, he wins the fight.
Nunes with a nice left cross as he begins to open up with a big punch. Interesting, Steve, they both had a different take on Nunes. Nunes said, hey, we got to start explosively. I tend to start slowly. And it's Granado's thinking that Nunes sort of burns himself out and starts too fast. So far, it's the smaller Granados trying to walk down the southpaw, but now they're back in the middle of the ring.
Heck of a right hand to the body Granados landed, I'll tell you that. Generally a good idea against a southpaw to use lead rights, which you just saw Granados do.
And he says his left hook is his favorite punch, so that'll work too at times.
Yeah, especially to the body against the southpaw.
Agnaldo Nunes is from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's in black and in the white. And really the local guy, you would say, down from Southern California is Isidro Granado. 8 years his junior, just 20 years old, and showing that he'll trade some thunder with the guy who is naturally bigger. Nunes with a very solid foundation, Steve. Two-time Olympian. He's been there. Much clearer, superior amateur record.
Yeah, that makes a difference. And he's an older guy, too. He's 8-9 years older than Granados. One thing I like, Nick, about Granados, we saw it on tape and we see it here. He throws nice, straight punches.
He does. He really gets that full extension. And he's got to work behind a jab. And you would think he has got to get Nunes his respect, at least, with a show of some kind of power. Nunes starting to swing for the fences a little bit, being warned by the referee to keep his punches up. But Nunes backing up, and then fighting out of a clinch there. Now putting punches together nicely. And a guy in white, Isidro Granados, continuing to try to find his range with that jab. And here comes that right down the pipe. And a good combination from Granados. Some of the punches taken on the gloves and covered up well by the Brazilian Nunes. Nunes takes another body shot, so that right hand is sinking in.
It's been a nice crisp round with crisp punches coming from both guys.
And with 10 seconds left, it's really a tough one to score, so that's why you're scoring, Steve.
Yeah, I know. We got my success.
Nice right hand there as that backs Nunes off, which is exactly what Granados wants to do.
Hey, we're doing good. We feel any punch off of this guy, okay? You know what? Hey, you're doing a hell of a job, but I just can't have you sitting standing too long. Right there when we got hit with the light punch, because the thing, like I said, if we're not moving that head, you're gonna get in front of them. You have all the power. You gotta keep the tempo going, okay? We got something to spin in. We need a bucket, okay? Quita la canasta. Échala para acá. So we're doing a good job, but like I said, once we throw our punches, we gotta get the heck out of the way to either one way or the other. We cannot sit right in front of them. You got me? Okay, so like I said, land your punches, especially that lead right, but you got to get within range. Don't throw it from the far outside. We get it thrown too far.
Action from round one. Both fighters landing straight shots. That's a beautiful combination by Nunes. And at the corner of Granado said, got to move your head. Well, that's why he got hit there. He didn't move his head when Nunes threw that 1-2.
Steve, I like Manny Nava in the corner, not telling young Isidro Granados too much, but basically he likes that lead right hand, as you spoke about, but don't stand and try to slug with a naturally bigger guy. You got to hit and move and get out, but it's the kind of offense he's just really got to do smart aggression here, does Granados. We don't want to make him out like he's a straw weight or anything, but he is not naturally the bigger guy here. But he's slugging with the Brazilian right now and clocking them with nice combinations. So it's Granados rolling under some steam. He's got the momentum now, and he's got the Brazilian trapped against the ropes, a place he doesn't like to be. Now they're back in center. Well, quick hands from Granados.
Yeah, he wants to make this a fight, Nick, and he's doing that in the second round. The question remains, is he strong enough to fight with the bigger guy?
Never been past 6, and that was just once. But neither has Agnaldo Nunes.
And these guys turn pro around the same time. But these numbers are very, very misleading because Nunes has that big amateur background. Granado's only 20 years old.
Nunes with a windmill of a left hand uppercut. It was on the belt line. The referee, Jerry Canto, didn't like it. Warning the Brazilian, keep his punches up. Steve, both guys, good technical foundation, I think. Especially, I'm very impressed with Granados with a, as we said, fairly limited amateur career, but he doesn't make a lot of rookie mistakes.
I agree. He's just got to worry a little bit about defense, moving his head.
And really coming in nicely behind that jab, really getting that full extension on that right hand. And then just tracking with that hook off the jab nicely. There's a hook to the body. As Granado certainly has Nunes' attention now. Nunes, solid combination of his own. And there, with a home run swing that missed. And he's got the younger Granados in white backing off now and in the corner. And let's see if the Brazilian could rough him up inside. There goes that hybrid hook, or I should say cross uppercut from Nunes, and a good counter from him, but back with a counter of his own combination is Granados. Nice fast clip to this fight.
And you know, both fighters, Nick, have shown a straight punch to the body. That's a mature move. You don't see a lot of young guys make. Both guys have done it.
Nunes doing anything wrong in your opinion, Steve?
Well, I'd like to see more combination punches from him. It's kind of one at a time.
He stepped back nicely. He loves that left hand. You can see that's where the power is, and it should be. He's a southpaw, a natural southpaw. Lead left hand again as he clips Granados, who, to his credit, has not abandoned his jab. Still trying to put punches together and doing a good job of this in the second round. Very strong opening bout here in Santa Ynez.
Respira. Quiero más finta, ¿ok? Más llaveando, más finta. Engáñalo que tire la derecha contra el golpearlo porque el cuerpo de él está encima.
Work the body. It's very easy
Dame
to hurt to the
más,
body.
entrando, saliendo, engañando.
Go in,
¿Ok? Con finta,
go
entrando
out.
con jab, es tuyo. ¿Ok?
And work that jab and work that
Con calma.
left hand. Work that body.
Respira. ¿Cómo te sientes? Estamos bien. El jab.
Action from round 2. Nick, so far this fight reminds me of one of those playoff games in baseball. A lot of offense and not much defense. These guys are wailing on each other, and Granados really turned it into a fight. You see him working Nunes against the ropes, and there's a nice low left hand, windmill style by Nunes. Good action.
Yeah, real interesting because the intrigue of Showbox is we saw Granados in fight, hadn't fought a lot of guys with winning records. Who knows really what he's made of? Well, so far, he's hanging with a guy who's been to 2 Olympics, who's 8 years his senior, and is trying to go big places, too. It's Isidro Granados in the white, getting clipped by that right hand, so it's Agnaldo Nunes in black, heeding the instructions from his corner, work behind that right jab more. It's simply the power punch is trying to load up as much. Now it's good combination work from Nunes. And a headbutt there.
Let's look at your hand. Come on, come over here. Unintentional headbutt, no cut.
No
Box,
cut.
let's go.
So unintentional, no harm, no foul. Oh, and Nunes unloads as Granados walked into a straight left hand.
Boy, you know, fighters far more experienced than Granados get caught by left hands from southpaws. They don't see them coming. You can imagine how hard it is for Granados. He's never fought a lefty.
Nunes beautifully, when they get in close, shortening his punches up and countering nicely. Now Nunes trying to make the play and be first. Really impressed with Granados, Steve, that he has not forgotten again about that jab against him.
Are we going to get into that argument about jabs with southpaws? I can hear my producer now in the truck. Let me know.
I like it because a lot of guys say forget about it.
I'm going to write a treatise on that subject.
And here comes, Nunes. Is that a slip? Is it down?
Counter right hand.
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Nunes is angry.
8, está bien.
He walked into that counter.
Okay. Box, let's go.
Let's see if he's dazed. We've still got well over a minute in this round 3. And here comes Granados. Can he finish Nunes? How badly is the man in black hurt?
Doesn't look hurt to me in the eyes, Nick. Always the first sign. And his legs look good, too.
Firing back with shots of his own. I don't see as much steam on the punches from Nunes. But it's Granados measuring Nunes, not trying to get ahead of himself, Steve. Sinking that right hand to the body, but eating some punches of his own. Should Granados step up the attack?
I don't think he should do anything differently because I don't think the Brazilian is that hurt. I really don't. He's landed the better shot since the knockdown.
Let's go. Unintentional headbutt.
Didn't see that again.
I didn't see it, no.
It's the ref asked him. Was it almost asked him, was it an unintentional headbutt?
Nick Nunes is coming on in this round. It's as if the knockdown, and you know, hopefully we'll see it again, but it's as if the knockdown woke him up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's low.
Yeah, but it's Granados firing back like a veteran, but now taking too many punches in the corner as Nunes in black gets out of this round and survives the knockdown and comes back.
Let's get it. Okay? Keep your hands up. All right? Mano arriba. No confíe en él, okay? Está buscando
Keep your
la
hands
derecha.
up.
Vamos al otro lado.
Don't trust
okay?
this guy. Move to your left.
Respirando. Coge agua.
Drink a little water
bien?
here. You okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, respire.
Breathe.
Breathing in. Come on. Un poquito más.
Drink a little water here.
Mira. Quiero movimiento. No confíe
want
en
some
esta cara,
movement.
okay?
Don't
Dame
trust
ya el
this guy.
movimiento. Cuando se siente bien,
First, we're going to see action from round 3, the butt in this round. And there it is. Well, maybe that wasn't it. There's the butt. And here's the knockdown. Okay, the knockdown's coming up. That's when he jumped in and watch the counter punch of the fighter in. Oh, that's a beautiful right hand. Yeah, we were right. It was a counter punch.
Really quick. Granados in white unloads and probably made that a 10-8 round, although, as you said, the Brazilian came back big to make it close.
Yeah, you know, that's the difficulty in scoring.
It is.
I tell you, I scored 10-8, even though Nunes won every second of the round after that knockdown.
He did.
But this is pro boxing, and a fighter should be rewarded for a clean, and that was a clean, spectacular knockdown.
Nunes embarrassed by it, too. He just got clipped on a counter. He's in the black and coming out. It seemed to really juice him up, as you say. But now he's backing up, and that's a place that Granados thinks the Brazilian cannot be effective, that his power is totally nullified, and most fighters do have difficulty fighting off, as they say, the back leg. Here comes Nunes swinging out of the clinches there, and it's Granados backing off a little bit, and then just that little side step and that counter right.
Nice move, huh?
Really sweet.
And for what it's worth, Nick, Nunes has been down 3 times in his career. That was the 4th knockdown he suffered in only 11 fights.
So, chin suspect, Granados fighting like a guy that belies his 20 years of age and limited amateur experience, we should say again, but a nice right hand by the Brazilian there connects. Granados slipping punches, getting set, his hands are low, he's trying to reset, figure out that left-handed style. Now he leads with that right hand as he moves to the right, but absorbs a couple of shots from the Brazilian. It's Nunes in black, coming forward now. Granados waiting to pick him off with his gloves and counter. They jab together, nice right hand to the body by the Brazilian.
And you see Granados moving to his right quite a bit. Bad move against Nunes because you're moving into the southpaw's power shot, his left hand.
Granados may be slowing down a little bit. He's thrown a lot of punches, Steve.
Yeah, they both have, and I'll tell you, Nunes would be well advised to work the body as much as he can. It's an 8-round fight. They're not even at the halfway mark. He's the bigger guy.
Granados, Steve, is he making a mistake waiting to counter so much, taking shots and then firing back, or should he make this fight?
Well, I tell you, he's trying to make the fight, and he's coming forward, and the closer he gets, it seems like the more danger he's in.
There's nice shots on the belt line there. Warned by the referee is Granados to keep his shots up. Got that nice little left hook upstairs. Haven't seen as much body work, but Granados really does a good job in that department. Certainly not just a headhunter. As we get ready for the close of the 4th round, which will take us halfway home if it goes 8 here. More boxing comes your way Saturday night, November 6th, when Showtime Championship Boxing returns with a 140-pound showdown.
America's Fight Night is on Showtime on the first Saturday of every month. On November 6th, it's the rematch to end up bitter rivalry when junior welterweight champion Costa Tszyu takes on Shambe Mitchell. Their first fight was stopped early. Now the two rivals have unfinished business to settle. Saturday, November 6th at 9 p.m. It's America's Fight Night on America's #1 boxing network.
Tszyu Mitchell, we've been waiting 3.5 years for this rematch. It really is a question of, let's see a definitive winner this time. It was stopped after Mitchell's leg injury 7 rounds through. And here we are in Santa Ynez, Agnaldo Nunes in black. And halfway home, Steve Farhood, how do you have this?
38-37 for Isidro Granado. But I'll tell you, I think Nunes has all the momentum. Now, that 4th round was a good comeback round for him.
What do you do best, in your opinion? And where has he been making mistakes, the left-hander?
Well, I think his mistake is his defense. Offensively, he's throwing short shots, and he's taking advantage of the fact that Granados is trying to back him up. He's a good counterpuncher, and he's working the body consistently. He's been doing that from round 1. That's going to pay a lot of advantage. You see, in terms of these guys going the route, they're fairly inexperienced. No KOs late for either guy.
Well, Steve, simply because one's an orthodox, one's a left, doesn't make them dissimilar in style. And they both do a lot of the same things well, body punching, and they also counterpunch, both of them well.
Granados just looks longer and leaner, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And he kind of throws those straight shots, and Nunes' punches seem a little shorter.
Granados in white and Nunes in black. And as Steve had it, he's got Isidro Granados ahead by a point. Neither guy has to believe he's got a safe lead at this point. But Granados, knowing he's already knocked his opponent down. A guy with much more experience. Steve, in terms of confidence, it's an obvious question, but when you drop a guy, it's gotta boost you. It can make some guys careless, I guess.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it made Granados careless. It made him brave, and I don't know if that's a good thing in this fight, because he's been hit a lot since that knockdown, because he's been coming forward. You see him coming forward now.
And he stopped jabbing, trying to figure out the left-hander. Now he gets beaten to the punch, so it's the Brazilian putting his punches together better in this 5th round. And nicely done there. Nunes working off that jab, now looking much more evasive, not just swinging for the fences as he was in the first couple of rounds. He was down in the 3rd, came back, and there he just chilled Granados, just numbed him with a nice left-hand counter as Granados walked into that shot. So Granados not really taking the round off, but doing far less than he was. Now he comes in over the top with that right hand. Pace is slowed just slightly.
Yeah, and that's because Granados is not getting off right now. He's coming forward, but he's not getting off. Not punching.
Brazilian's showing me that he can fight backing up at times. He stood his ground there and fired back.
Yeah, landing a big shot off the ropes.
Well, Granados is a smaller guy, but he knows he's got to make Nunes respect his power.
If you take the fight to him, he'll back up and he'll get into a shell, and then he can't fight back. Cannot fight back. He only knows how to fight one way. He's fighting forward. When we noticed the last fight, the guy was taking it to him, and he had a little trouble, and he stopped doing that, and then that's when Nunes took over the fight, just basically going forward. And so we've seen we're going to have to go forward to him and make the fight, because he can't fight backwards.
Steve, you know, it's an interesting thing. A lot of fighters do the same thing. They form their impressions based on the video they look at another
So
guy
do
the way we do.
Right.
So good idea, bad idea. I think he can fight back enough.
Well, I think it's been
Round safe.
He just hasn't been accurate in his assessment of his opponent, because that's no shell that Nunes is going into. He's punching.
So it comes down to making adjustments. Let's get specific on Granados. He's won some early rounds. He's put his opponent on the floor. But what does he have to do better right now?
Well, I think he's got to keep his energy level up. That's probably the single most important thing right now, because he has to match Nunes in punches. And if the body punching of Nunes has taken a lot out of him, and he's the smaller guy, and he hasn't gone 8 before, that's a lot. So
They're pushing down. Let's go. Box, let's go. Let's go.
no major offense there. But the punch output, Nick, I think from Granados is really key right here, because it's slowing, it's dropping.
Yeah, and you know, he talked about controlling the tempo. It's not a matter of winding it down, winding it up. He's got to rev it up. I agree with you. They both have good quickness. We'll see who's got better stamina at this point. We're only in the 6th, and it's scheduled for 8. Relatively short fight, but a place neither guy has gone. And at this weight class, you could safely say most junior lightweights fight it at a similar clip. It's not as if this is a red-hot pace, but it is definitely a good one, but representative of the class.
Nice left hand inside by Nunes. Definitely has an effect on Granados. It was not low.
A little more clinching we see, so maybe both guys taking a bit of a breather. But boy, it's got to be a close fight on the cards, you would think. Oh, a left hand there beautifully. And that is the kind of shot from Granados that could turn this baby around.
That was nothing like the first knockdown.
Wow.
Nunes is hurt now.
And almost well over a minute here to see if the young 20-year-old could finish off the Brazilian. He is hurt. Look at the mouse under his left eye. Nunes still firing shots. Granados very much under control. There goes that right hand, and he's letting his hands fly now. He should. Oh, taking shots here. Granados backs off. So Granados has had Nunes on the deck twice in this fight.
Granados has to be careful now not to overextend himself and not to get too close. He's landing. He's got the longer arms. Don't smother his own power.
Oh, nice left from the Brazilian as he battles back. And it's Granados who suddenly stopped his offense cold. Oh, he gets clipped. Granados walking in by a nice right. And it's the Brazilian shifting, getting his momentum back. There's the elbow a little bit. So he is putting his offense in gear. It looks like he's shaking off the effects of that punch. I don't see quite as much thunder from the Brazilian now, so perhaps he hasn't totally erased that moment when he was on the deck for the second time tonight.
Wow.
This time from the left.
And don't forget, the shorter the fight, the more significant on the cards knockdowns are. And there've been 2 in an 8-round.
That's like winning 4 rounds.
Exactly.
So, with that in mind, through 6, how do you have it?
57-55 for Granados.
Breathe. What's happening here?
Mano arriba. No confía en
Keep your hands up high.
Respire.
Breathe.
Respire.
Come on, breathe, man.
Está buscando un puño, ¿ok?
He's looking for
Dame
just one
movimiento,
punch.
no enfrente de él, ¿ok? Tenemos que terminar fuerte. Tenemos 2 rounds.
We got to finish
Action
this
from
fight
round 6, and
strong.
boy, the knockdowns have been spectacular. Look at that left hook. He's letting his hands go, as we said he had to. Throwing in combination. 1 punch, 2 punch, boom. You see that Nunes' right hand was low, and that was just a case of taking advantage and throwing a punch at the right time. That's all that was.
Just really like the way this young guy just steps back, steps in. He really turns on angles beautifully. Just really cuts those corners. Does a lot of things, as you said, Steve, early, that belie his age and his experience. Remember, this is Granados' 12th professional fight. For Nunes, his 11th. Nunes in deep trouble now would be the consensus, I would think, here in Santa Ynez. And now it's Granados and White coming forward with renewed vigor, but here comes the Brazilian battling back, trying to wrest control of this fight and wrench his way back in it, because he's got to be in trouble. There's a headbutt. Body punch delivered at the same time by the Brazilian.
Unintentional butt. No cut. Let's go.
All right, he's got to shake this off, Steve.
He has.
No cut, but look at the bruise there.
Watch your head.
On the right side of Granados, below the right eye. And Nunes walks into the left counter, so Granados stunned by that headbutt, no doubt, but he keeps firing back impressively. Nunes trying to pump up the volume on his attack. He's got 5 minutes. And now it's Granado's holding on. Looks a little tired.
Yeah, exactly right. And you'd never think he was the one that had scored the 2 big knockdowns. He looks like the hunted, not the hunter right now.
Oh, nice left by Nunes as he turned nicely on that. Highly entertaining fight. They punch it once, and there Granado's walking into shots, but he elects to slug with Nunes, and he backs the Brazilian off, but the Brazilian hot-shotting him from outside beautifully here.
Amazing, Nick. Every time the bigger guy lands a shot, not much happens. When the smaller guy lands a shot, he hurts Nunes every time.
It's a great way to get ShoBox off on our Friday nights. I love this opening bout. Both guys battling bell to bell. It's Granados in white, and in the black, Nunes, who has been down twice in this fight, once by a counter right, once by a counter left. And Nunes is unloading those shots, and it's Granado on the receiving end as he is being battered now. Body shots, both hands to the head, but here comes Granados, slugging back, now backing off a little bit, clearly losing this vital 7th round.
No doubt about it. Boy, Nunes sparred a lot in his career with Popo Freitas from Brazil, and I doubt that those sparring sessions were any more exciting than this. This is good stuff.
Right down the middle goes Nunes with that left hand, and it seemed to hurt Granados. I agree, Steve. Real buzzsaw action here. The left-hander has trying to wrest control of this fight again, warned about using his elbows. But here, with the free shots, he just walks in, Nunes, and unloads at the end of this 7th, his biggest round in a while. As he grabbed momentum back, but with only 1 round to go, will it be enough?
Boy, action from round 7. This was a violent fight. And you know what? Granados can't blame anybody but himself. He was the one whose head was coming forward there. His hands were down. His head came forward. He got butted.
Touch him up in the middle.
Okay? Hey, let's watch them headbutts, big dog. Suck up some air, big dog. Come on, suck it up. Another one. I need one last round.
Combinations. Breathe. It's your fight, man. It's your fight. This is the last round. You gotta fight.
Came out for a moment and came back on him. Don't sit right in front of him, okay? Don't be sitting right in front of him. Okay?
Okay? Vamos a pelear. Mano arriba y vamos.
Neither corner wants their guy to stand and slug, but I really hope they close this out the way they fought for 7 rounds. With really just going to war, Steve. Nobody's really backed off. Nobody's coasted. Granados looked a little gassed there in the 7th. And here comes Nunes with more pop to his punches. He has been dropped twice in this fight, and as you say, had been dropped 3 times in his career previous to this. So Granados giving the left-hander more than he thought. I really thought Nunes talking to him thought that he was seriously going to outclass this kid. Oh, here comes Granados shooting that right counter. And now the combinations come from the Brazilian in black.
Both guys, Nick, have been so successful offensively. It's really been a pleasure to watch this action non-stop. And Nunes fighting this round like he knows he needs it. Hey, this fight comes down to the cards. If Nunes wins this round, it's going to be real tight. And I'll tell you, one of the keys will be how the judges scored that 3rd round when Granados knocked Nunes down, but then Nunes won the rest of the round. So 10-8 for me.
Right, could have been a 9-8.
Exactly, could have been or a 10-9. I have it 66-65 Granados going into this last round.
Granados in white and in the black, Nunes. Both guys have never stopped slugging and never stopped believing they could win this fight. It's just fabulous to see a guy get off the canvas and then steal momentum and win back with some thunder of his own, win these rounds.
And he's winning this one too, Nick.
Nunes in black has been down twice again, but he is up and the busier fighter here down the stretch. Can he win this round and perhaps get a draw, squeeze out a win? It's just hard to fathom, though, a guy coming off the canvas twice and winning a fight, an 8-rounder. We will see.
And look at Nunes working, boy. Non-stop work this round. It's as if it took 8 rounds for his strength advantage to manifest itself. But right now, he looked by far the stronger fighter.
And the fresher one, huh?
Yeah, and it's not easy winning a fight on points. 8-round fight when you've been knocked down twice. And
Exactly.
Those were not flash knockdowns. Those were brutal knockdowns.
Every round is individual, of course. Granado's losing this round. You don't sit there and coast home and concede it, do you? He obviously can't think it's safe, but he doesn't want to walk into anything at this point. He looks tired.
And, you know, he's landed 2 big knockout punches. Maybe that changed his philosophy a little bit. Maybe he started looking for the one big knockout punch. You add that to his fatigue, and that's why we have low work rate for Granados in this 8th round.
We watch them finish here at Santa Ynez. And there's no doubt a crowd like this, and they're cheering for both guys. Real guts here on both sides. Isidro Granados and Agnaldo Nunes. Battle 8 rounds.
Neither guy had ever been past 6 rounds, Nick. It's two very impressive performances.
They both did a lot of things right. They both did a few things wrong. Steve, the impressive thing I saw is that I didn't believe going in is that the naturally smaller guy, Isidro Granados, who has fought as a featherweight only, and this is junior lightweight, really matched Agnaldo Nunes in the power department. Obviously with 2 knockdowns, and as you say, they were brutal.
Yeah, he not only matched him, he surpassed him in the power department, and every time he landed a clean shot flush, he knocked Nunes down. Nunes landed a lot of shots flush, and Granados took them. Nice chin on Granados.
Yeah, and then the other thing with the scouting report with Nunes, the question, can he fight backing up? You got to push him back. I found out he could.
No, you are 100% right.
So they total him up here in Santa Ynez. We're at the Chumash Casino Resort. Our first bout on this Friday night of Showbox. And a good one. Isidro Granados, Agnaldo Nunes, battle 8.
In a close fight, these knockdowns are going to be critical. How are they scored? Beautiful counter right in round 3. Again, that's not a flash knockdown, and Nunes got up and won the rest of the round. Take another look at it. The southpaw threw that left hand and didn't bring it back up, exposing his chin. Boom. And then round 6, equally beautiful knockdown. Again, a counter punch. Again, Nunes punches first, lets his hands drop. Big shot by Granados. Left hook. Here he comes. That's just perfect. Will those be enough to give Granados the win? We'll see. This is a close fight. I have it dead even, Nick.
Let's see how Jimmy Lennon Jr. has it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 action-packed rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Here are the judges' totals. Judge at ringside, James Jenkin III, scores about 76 to 74 in favor of Agnaldo Nunes. Judges at ringside, Gwen Adair and David Denkin scores about 75 to 75, even a draw. The decision is even, a majority draw.
Gotta tell you, Steve, right on the cards there, and we have had a lot of draws on Showbox.
Yeah.
There's booing from the crowd. They obviously thought Isidro Granados won. And based on 2 knockdowns, basically one judge only gave him 2 other rounds besides the knockdown.
Yeah, well, that's assuming, remember, that 3rd round knockdown round was scored 10-8. We don't know if it was. It might have been scored 10-9 because Granados scored the big knockdown, but then clearly Nunes won the rest of that round. So it's tough. It's tough to say how they scored that 3rd round, but I think that was a key. And 2 judges scoring 75-75. That's the way I had it. And Dr. Jen Kin, 76-74 for Nunes. Very interesting. As Nick said, that means he thought Nunes won virtually every round in this fight in which he stayed on his feet.
I'd like to see them both again personally, and they showed me something. Nunes battling back from adversity to eke out an exciting draw here. And Granado's stepping up, I think, in obviously his sternest test, and I think passing with flying colors.
And Nick, just to reiterate a point you made early, you really never know. Showbox is like a box of chocolates because Granados comes in here with 2 wins over fighters with winning records, and look how effective he was. He looked like a pretty good young prospect that you'd want to see again at the age of 20. Yeah. So he moved up.
He shouldn't feel dispirited about this one, nor should we. A hot start to our Friday night as Showbox comes to you tonight. Agnaldo Nunes makes a return visit to Showbox. His obstacle tonight, young, hard-hitting Adalberto Borquez. Nunes against Borquez in a junior lightweight class scheduled for 10 rounds or less. Remember, the first Saturday of every month is America's Fight Night on Showtime, and coming up November 5th, undefeated super middleweight king Jeff Lacey defends his title for the 4th time against Scott Pemberton. Steve Albert has more.
Super